We are live. Here we are on Facebook. It is another day. It is Tuesday, the 16th of February. We're more than halfway through the month and spring is getting closer every day. I'm Tom Young, and we're here with Money Shifts, the podcast, and Facebook Live about financial mastery coaching. And this month, we're talking about a book, The Richest Man in Babylon. Now, I talk about books that I believe if you read them and follow some of the advice in the books, it can make an unbelievable difference in your future. As we get started today, every day, we want to make sure that we send out our prayers for everybody affected by COVID-19, everybody who has lost loved ones, and the loved ones who have been lost. We pray for them. We pray that the Lord opens his arms and takes them into his heaven above. We will get over this. We will get it behind us. There have been other things in history that have happened, and we're still here. The world didn't end. I don't believe it will this time. Although there is some financial hurricanes and clouds and storms that are out there lurking in our lives, and we need to be aware of them. We need to understand what I'm talking about here. Today's topic is Gold Laboreth diligently for us. Well, what do I mean by that? We need to have our money working for us versus working for somebody else. Depending on the decisions you make, the responsibility that you take, and how you decide to manage your money is the difference between whether you end up okay with an acceptable level of mediocrity or you end up, hey, over the top and end up with joy and happiness. There are a lot of ingredients, I believe, have to go into play to end up with joy and happiness, whether it's family, spiritual, physical, relationship with your spouse, relationship with your children, the businesses that we all run. And people say, well, I'm not in business. I don't have a business. Yes, you are. We all have a business. It's a financial business, and you have to learn how to manage it properly, or you will never enjoy the fruits of your labors that are available to everybody just simply based on the way we discipline our lives, the decisions we make, the people we listen to, the advertisements that we get sucked into. All of those things make for an unbelievable difference in our future. We have to be very, very aware of what I'm talking about. The thinking muscle between our ears. I'm working here to grow your thinking muscle, to provide new information that you are not familiar with, you are not aware of, but it is there. You know, we did a thing not too long ago, your circle of knowledge. Remember that? I don't know if you saw it, but it's in there. It's in the podcast. Seek it out and find it and go back and listen to it. The circle of knowledge includes all of the knowledge in the world, everything that is possible, whether you know about it or not. Each of us own a wedge of that pie. There it is. There's the wedge. And that is us. In other words, it's the schooling I went to, the people I know, the things I do, the work I do, all of those things are part of my wedge. There is another wedge that is filled with information that I am aware of. I may not know it, but I know it exists and I know it's there. Example, I know there is information out there. I could learn how to play a piano, which is one of my dreams in life, to be able to play a piano. But it takes a lot of time to practice, and I haven't found enough time to do that yet. but I know that knowledge is out there. People can be a doctor, lawyer, engineer, all of those things we are familiar with. We know the information is available, and there it is. So when I look at this, and then I look at that circle, the rest of the circle is the blind spot. And the blind spot is all of that information that we don't even realize exists. Yes, it's there. We know it's there. There's ether. There's information out there, things that have not been invented yet, on and on and on. There was lots there. Now, there was a little red sliver of a wedge that's there. And that's the information that we know, we think we know. Will Rogers said it best. It isn't so much what we know. It's what we think we know that just ain't so. And that little red wedge on this picture, if you find that podcast that I did, and it talks about if you found out something that you thought to be true turned out not to be true, when would you want to know? And that's that little red wedge. Those are the things in our realm, in our life, in our thinking muscle that is there. We believe that it's true, but in reality, it is not. Again, here's the question. If you found out something that you believed is true regarding your future, your finances, your family, business, whatever it is, you thought it was true, you knew it had to be true, and you found out it wasn't, when would you want to know? So that's what we're talking about today. And the rule today, the gold rule today, well, this week is 5 laws of gold, and today's law of gold is gold laboreth diligently and contentedly. For the wise owner who finds for it profitable employment, multiplying even as the flock of the field. Now, what do I mean by that? What did Clayson talk about in the book? What did he mean by that? You know, we have to take our money, whether it's gold, at that time, 6,000, 2,000 years ago, gold was something that people carried around. It's how you paid for things. Wasn't any printed money, but you had to have a way to pay for something, or you bartered for it. You traded effort, something that you could do. You traded it to somebody that could do something else for you that you needed done. That's the form of barter. Art isn't a lot of that around today, but there is still barter going around today. It's still out there, still happens every day. So when I talk about gold laboring, gold laboreth diligently, you need to find a way for your money to make more money. Now, in all of the things and places that you can store your wealth, there are 2 main areas that I can store money. That's an investment. And that number one thing would be real estate. Oh, I don't trust real estate. Well, you know what? There are only 2 things, 2 places you can put money where the banks will absolutely, without question, loan you money. Number one is real estate, property, land. They will absolutely loan you money against property. Because even if you have rental property, like I have here in my building, I own this building and I have 3 tenants in this building that pay me rent. And you know, the value of the building could be up or down. I don't know whether I'm upside down. A few years ago, you know, real estate took such a hit in value. But you know what? My renters didn't stop paying me rent. So it is not relevant on what the building's value is. What's relevant is it a viable property that I can rent to other people? Other people would want to rent from me and rent this property. So when the property values go up, down, whatever, my rents don't stop. They continue on. And over a long, sustained period of time, as money is devalued and inflation impacts my dollar, think about it. When I have a mortgage at the bank, whether it's a 25-year mortgage on a commercial rental property or a 30-year fixed rate mortgage on my residence, that 30-year fixed rate mortgage, I'm paying the same payment every month over the sustained period of time. And you know what? Over a sustained period of time, the dollars that I pay the bank, the financial institution, for my mortgage payments, guess what? The value of the dollar goes down. Remember, there are 5 elements that we have to overcome in the financial arena: risk, taxes, regulation, inflation, and depreciation of the dollar. So whatever you're doing with your money, does it solve those problems? The bank will not loan you money against your 401k, IRA, 403b, or any of those type of government plans. They will not leverage and loan you money on those accounts. In fact, the law even says if you leverage that account, it will disqualify it, and all of the taxes will come due plus the penalties. So what's the other one? If I have a dividend paying mutual life insurance cash value policy of whole life type, the bank will immediately loan me money against the cash value exactly the same way that the insurance company will make me a loan based on my cash value as collateral. It is perfect collateral. So if I were thinking into the future on having a safe plan with certainty, it would involve real estate and it would involve a dividend paying whole life insurance policy, because one enhances and supports the other. I want my money to work for me. I want it to laboreth diligently for me. I want it to pay me an income so that I can use that income to pay some of my expenses that allows me to save more money. You know, I gave a little bit of an example yesterday. I've got $100,000. And that $100,000, I can put it in a bank or put it in an investment, and I might earn somewhere between 1% and maybe 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 in the stock market. And the more interest that I chase, the higher the risk. But if I take that $100,000 and I use $20,000 5 times as a down payment on a property that I can rent out, a rental property, and that rental property, each one only nets, after all expenses, nets for me $200 a month positive, times 5 is $1,000 a month, times 12 is 23, what? 5 properties making 200 each. Interesting. I can turn that into 25,000 a year income. I guess that would be like a 25% rate of return on my $100,000. But what would my risk be? Well, the risk would be very low because the value of the property is meaningless to me unless I were going to sell it. I'm only concerned in the rental income that it generates. And I use the whole life insurance policy as a warehouse of money. It's a place I store my money. Isn't it interesting? It's the only place other than real estate the banks will typically loan you money. Why is that? Well, let's do some research in the banks and go to Google or wherever you go on the internet search engine and look for BOLI, bank-owned life insurance. and you will find, we have a local bank here, Huntington Bank in Beaver Valley. They're worth $3.92 billion. That's their core reserve value. And 40% of that money is in whole life insurance policies. Because the Federal Reserve tells their member banks, this is the position of least risk of default. Isn't that interesting? But yet the financial world does not want you to know this information, because what it does is it takes away from them. It takes away their leverage and their controlling and their fractional banking of the money. Because I make a loan from an insurance company, they can't loan the same money out more than the one time. They cannot practice fractional banking. They are not part of the Federal Reserve. But yet almost every state has a state insurance guarantee fund that protects those policies. How interesting that is. So I'm going to let that go today. We want to make sure that our gold is laboring diligently for us and contentedly. We need to build we need to build passive residual income for our retirement. At some point in time, the rental income, the savings income, the investment income should equal or become greater than my monthly lifestyle expenses. That, my friends, is financial freedom. And only that is financial freedom. I have an ebook, Jumpstart Your Financial Freedom. Another ebook, Financial Mastery Coaching Blueprint. These are available at cfo-project.com. There it is. cfo-project.com. Go there, put your email address in, and you will instantly get a link, an email with a link in it to download to your computer or your iPhone or Android a copy of my book, The Family Money Farm, The CFO Project. You can also go to Barnes & Noble, Amazon. You can buy it there in the big booksellers, or you can communicate with me here and I will provide an autographed copy. We'll take care of the cost and the payments through PayPal. So it gets paid that way. But I will send you a personally autographed copy. With that, God bless. We'll see you here tomorrow at noon with the Money Shift podcast and Facebook Live. God bless.